Well, as you can see, this wonderful array of meadow blooms is what this webisode is all about. And I have to tell you, Teresa has done some wonderful things. And here is just a sneak peek. Look at that. How fun is that? It just opens and pops up. Okay, we asked, would you please come play with us? Well, let me just go through what the products are. Meadow Blooms is the collection, and we'll start with the 12 by 12. There are 12 double-sided sheets plus 56 cutouts. Now, that's a really wonderful collection, don't you think? And we'll be getting into that. We also have coordinating solid cardstock, and there are 12 colors. You're going to get 2 of each. You can see that whole array, and I predict that you're going to find a lot of uses for this solid cardstock. Now, also, we have the same patterns in the 6 by 6. Now, in the 6 by 6, you also get 4 of each sheet and plus 112 cutouts. You know, that's pretty amazing. Now, speaking of embellishments, the die cuts, there are 2 different sheets. You're going to get 31 die cuts, and as always, this is hot off the press, so you're going to get ideas on the back of the packaging for card making and also scrapbooking on the 12 by 12. We also have chipboard. Now, this has 18 pieces, and I'll show you some fun ways to do that. And then we have this wonderful collection of 6 cutting dies, and as you can see, there are the flowers, there are leaves as well as ferns, so just really to make a beautiful collection. But let's get started with Teresa. Actually, I'm going to pause for a moment and first get started with the scrapbooking page. This is a 12 by 12, and it's on the back of the pattern cardstock 12 by 12 collection. But I just really like to give this an extra boost for our scrapbooking friends. Now, this is the first sheet in the collection, and you can see it is a drop dead gorgeous, absolutely wonderful. Now, when Lene used this, she used our oval doilies, and doesn't that make a beautiful frame? She matted her photo on the solid cardstock, and this is one of the die cuts, another of the cutouts, and then some of the chipboard, all really beautifully arranged. Okay, scrapbookers, just so you know, we don't forget you. Now let's get into Teresa's, and we'll get in close. And I think this is just stunning, and I love what she did. So she started with the 6 by 6, and this is the sheet she began with. Now, isn't that interesting? So with the magic of blending brushes and the magic of ink pads, in fact, I'm going to lay them right here. We'll have to back up just a little bit, just so that you can see how she used them. So she started with the paper placed on a craft mat. And she started with the tiger orange, which is the darkest of the prism oranges. So she's got tiger orange, tangerine, peachy, warm honey, and buttercup. So you can see going from the orange into the yellow. In fact, just take a look at the sheet again. So starting out, so she first would trim the paper down to the size. Now the size is down below. Just look at that card. Click on it, you'll see the instructions, and that way you get everything right in front of you. So certainly taking the paper and cutting it down, and then placing it on a cutting mat and tapping into each of the ink pads in turn with the blending brush, and simply going from the outside of the craft mat, outside of the patterned cardstock, and just swirling it on. Just doing that and then going to the next color and the next color, letting them overlap. That's important, and you will get a look just like Teresa did. So I'm going to scoot those aside, bring this back. Now this piece was first the card. Now the card is 5 by 6.5. So on the card, she first placed the solid cardstock, and this is the light yellow, as you can see. On the back of it is a deeper yellow. So she went with the lighter one and placed that first on her card. It's a little bit smaller than her card. She really likes having that white edge. It looks like a mat without any effort. Now, she has taken the cutting dies, and I have to tell you, I think this is just bloody brilliant, that she has taken them and die cut them out of black cardstock. And I think that's really, really striking. And you can see as she has layered them. So she has die cut everything out at least twice, some of them 3 times, and you do get the height, so you can just duplicate what Teresa has done. So she has just glued them straight onto the sheet. And I think it's fun that she has allowed the patterned cardstock to be behind it, because then you're going to get more depth and you can kind of peek through and you see that, well, gosh, there's flowers behind there. So there's much more going on. It's not just stark as it would be if the whole thing were just solid cardstock. And I think that's really a benefit to the patterned cardstock. So she's done that. Now she has used the jute. And the jute, as you know, comes in lots of different colors in the same package. You get 72 inches of each. So she has wrapped the yellow one around twice before she glued it to her card. And that just does a nice piece. Now, her greeting, a sunny hello, it's from this sheet. As I told you, there's lots of cutouts. So the sunny hello is right there. She did mat it on black and foam taped it at the top of her card. Now, do you see the butterflies? Well, those are also in black, and they come from our 117 Beautiful Butterflies collection. So you get these in all different colors, black being one of them. And so she's just added, and I think it does a really nice job of adding a special touch. Now, let's go on the inside. So you can see all of this yellows and oranges on the front, but on the inside, we're going to pop and we're going to in a blue section. So this is the pattern cardstock that she used. And again, she matted it on black, so trimmed it down and repeated having the black die cuts out of black, and did a simpler version of what she did on the front. More butterflies. The happy birthday, well, that's in the 6x6. You can see it right there. She too matted it on black and foam taped it. And I like how she just let that fern go up on top of the cutout. It's just a nice extra touch, but it is so Teresa, don't you think? Okay, that is our first wonderful card. I've got 3 more wonderfulnesses for you. And let me go to the next one. Here it is. Let me take the Post-it off of it. There you go. Isn't that gorgeous? Now you can see right off that this is also using the cutting die, but this time, rather than making them come from the bottom, she's let them become a floral embellishment. Really pretty. And the circular cutting die is acting as a wreath, which I think is doggone brilliant. Now in this case, she is using the 12x12. So let me show you what she has. So to begin with, the card has a solid cardstock on the bottom, just like the first card did. And this is the color. This is one side of the paper, and this is the other with a lighter shade of pink. Okay, so that gets us started. Now, Teresa used this. This is what we call the B side of the paper, so it's generally a lighter color. Here is the front side, and you can see the colors really pop far more. But she elected to go with this side, and she cut her paper down. Again, measurements are down below. And then she used our circle cutting dies. So here we go. And she placed the 3 1/4 inch right here, about a 1/2 inch from the right side. Then she placed the smaller 2 1/2 inch just inside it, and that would evacuate that circle and this circle. So she ran through the die cutting machine. Now this piece gets foam taped on top, as does the circle. Now that ring, we're going to use that in a little bit, but let's get finished with the front of our card. So she also used our straight line dazzles, and this is the colorful collection. And this has the wider and the narrower. And look what a nice, number one, it matches perfectly, which is lovely, but how she has just placed that on the edges and let them cross at the corners. It just adds such a nice shine without overwhelming, but just a beautiful accent. So then, as you can see with the flowers, she has die cut them out of the solid cardstocks, and let me just pull them out for you. So here is the blue that she used, the darker purple, the lighter lavender, the green, I guess those are all the colors that she used. The other sheets are for the inside. So you can see these are the back sides of them, but she used the front sides. Now, true to Teresa fashion, she also inked them with some of the prism ink pads. So you can see that the royal blue would be used on the blue cardstock. We've got the orchid going on the purple. We've got khaki, which is interesting, on the leaves, and then the violet for the darker purple. All of those, and you can just really use the photograph of this to place all of your pieces. And just like in many flower arranging, you would start from the bottom, let those leaves and ferns go first, and then place your flowers and additional pieces on top. Also notice that she took this one and die cut it out of two colors. So she's got the white and the green, and I think that's a really nice little, good, we're getting close, thank you, Jeanette, just to show you that. And then also she did tip it with the prism ink pad, so really nice. More jute from that same package. She also added Hunky Dory's pearls. Now this is the Purple Passion collection, so she's just attached those, they're self-adhesive, just place them in the center of those flowers and of the bow, so that worked nicely. Okay, that's our front of our card. Get these out of the way. The Sending Smiles Your Way, that comes from our die cuts. Again, everything coordinates, everything matches, and that has just been glued on top. And I like how it intersects that, that circle. Okay, the inside, she's gone green and pink, so you can see what she's done. Now for the green area, this, as you know, is the first sheet in the collection, and it is, as I said, drop dead gorgeous, don't you think? Are you shaking your head yes? Okay. But what she chose is this outer area where it's just the text. She cut it down, and then she inked the edges going back to the khaki, as you can see, using the blending brush. There is that ring from the front, and I really like how she placed the cutout kind of going into the ring. I think that's really nice. Here is the You Are Appreciated right there, already matted for you. Simple little bow out of the jute, another of the pearls, and it is done. And it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, I showed you a special one. Well, I think they're all pretty special in this collection at the beginning, and this is what it looks like. And as I said, this is the 6x, or maybe I didn't say, this is the 6x6, that same paper that I just showed you in the 12x12. And she has, in fact, let me show it to you. There you go. So it is going to go onto the card, but it does need to be trimmed down. And it is matted on the green. So let me pull that out. Again, it all matches perfectly and simply glued to the front of her card. Now, the collection down here I think is just really nice, and I like how she's let this become really letting it be free, letting it not get overlapped with anything. I think that's really nice, and I think this collection down here is just gorgeous. So the Wish You Were Here, that is another of the die cuts right there, so that's going to get glued down. The circle and the square are part of the cutout, so let me show you those. There's that butterfly and there's the circle. So down flat and then foam taped up. Now the Wish You Were Here, that comes from our Dazzles. It's the We're Together in more colors. So I'm showing you brown on the front, but obviously gold is on the inside. So Love You, but also these little flowers are part of the collection. So you can see those, they're just right in the corner. Now Teresa also added a border, and I think that's really nice. And this is out of the Fancy Borders, and it comes in black, white, gold, and silver, so obviously the gold there. peaking or repeating the gold theme, she has used the gold and silver ribbons, just knotted that gold piece. Now, it might be hard for you to see, but in the little flower dazzles, she has placed the lime green jewel dazzles. So it just adds a bit of that green color. Okay, we're getting in close. So there you, I hope you can see that. Okay, now we're going to go on the inside. And let me show you that opening again. So here we go. Just opens. So let me show you how that is. Very easy to do, which is always nice. So what Teresa did is she first cut 2 pieces of the light yellow solid cardstock and glued them into the card. Now, Teresa does not go over the fold. She likes to bring the papers just right next to the fold. That way it doesn't buckle. So that's a tip from her. Then she took this sheet of the 6x6, and it's on the back side of this one that she used on that first card. And she cut this in half, used 1/2 on each side, and then also placed those border dazzles on the outside edge. So really nice. Okay, so that sets us up for what's going on in the center. And what is going on there is to cut 3 pieces of the solid cardstock. Now, each of them is 7 inches by 2 inches, okay? Then you're going to go from the left, you're going to score at the 1/2 inch, at the 3.5, and at the 4.5. Now then, turn it over and place extra sticky tape on this area where you've got all of that. That's going to get solidly placed right down to the card. And place another one right next to that little small tab right next to the score line. Okay, so it's like this. Now what's going to happen, in fact, let me show you here. Teresa placed one for us. So this one is already positioned. This one is partially positioned. So what she's done is she's taken the large area and placed it right along the solid cardstock. Then this is all scored. I guess I didn't tell you how to fold them, did I? I apologize for that. So when you've got it on the back side, you're just going to make all of them, all 3 scores into mountain folds. Okay, you see that? All into the mountain folds, just like that and like that. Okay, now she has placed this down, removed the liner and placed it. Then we've got this piece, and this is going to go on the other side of the fold and also get attached with the extra sticky tape. So what that happens, in fact, let me just remove that liner. And there we go. And position this right along the edge of the solid. Go. And that's what it's going to do. It's going to just pull it. And I really like that angle that she has. Now, the last one is going to go on the opposite side. So the first 2 are flat on the left side and then attached on the right side along the fold. Then this one goes just the opposite way. So it's going to go here, and then it's going to lay over and get attached on the other side. Okay, and here's what it looks like when it's done. As you can see, they're going to go flat, and then they pop open. Now, about the decorating. I know you were going to ask that. Okay, so she's got 3 sections, so she's got 3 different things going on. And to start with the sending you a hello, it's in the cutouts right there. And I like how she tipped it at an angle. The center one, well, this comes also from the cutouts. It's a larger one, and she has trimmed it down to fit within that space. Then that beautiful arch, well, that's also in the cutouts. Everything is in that paper collection, that 6x6 collection. And again, she has tipped it going the other way. Now the little hearts, the missing you, the hugs, all of those are from the We're Together collection. And then she also has those green, lime green dazzles, jewel dazzles. You can probably see them better in the border. There you go. You can see how they're popping. So just a little touch of green, just like it's in the papers, just a touch of green. So really gorgeous and really a fun inside of the card and pretty easy to do. Okay, I have one more. And this time, Teresa has used one of our fabulous folded cutting dies, and this is the mason jar. Look at that, how fun. Okay, so it wiggles both ways, and you can see that she has used, well, I hope you can see, the chipboard on the top. Okay, let's get into that. Well, first, we'll start with the mason jar pop-up box card. Teresa also designs these, by the way. And what she elected to do, which I thought was really pretty clever, is she cut all of the pieces not out of solid cardstock, but she cut them out of the patterned cardstock. And this time, it is out of this sheet from the 12 by 12. And she has used the text area and cut her pieces. And so you end up with you want to cut out 2 of the large jars, and then you cut out 1 of the cross piece. And the way they go together is just really simple. You do need extra sticky tape. More and more, we just sort of need that all the time, don't we? So you do these in mountain folds, and what happens is that one goes on the back side of the other one. So they just get attached like so. And that creates your framework for your mason jar. Then on the center area, you're going to take this partial jar, same thing, fold those back, and then attach it to the cross pieces, and everything will match. So as you can see, everything is the same height, and everything is secure together. Now, what she has done is she has taken the chipboard. Well, all 18 of those pieces, I'm not sure if you used them all, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I want to point out what else she did. So as you can see, they look a little mottled. Can you see that? And the way that she did that, let me get my craft mat out. And she used the tri-blend markers to color her chipboard. Now I have already colored one, and you can certainly follow Teresa's colors. You can use any other color that you want. Now I colored it when it was within the backing of the chipboard. I'm just going to pop this little one out like so. It's just that difficult, folks. And I do have 2 colors. So I used a medium on the center and a light on the outside, and then kind of blended them together. Now what Teresa did is she took the mister and filled it with rubbing alcohol, okay? And then she squirted it onto the craft mat, and I know you can't see that, but trust me, it's there. And then after this was dry, which doesn't take very long, she dabbed it into the rubbing alcohol. Sometimes when I do this, it takes a little while for it to dry, but maybe you can see a little bit of a change there. So it's not solid anymore. It is kind of mottled. And boy, it was just that easy. So if this is a look that you like or one that you want to play with, that's all you have to do, and it's great. Okay, Teresa has always come up with fun things to do with our chipboard, and this will fit into our 10 envelopes, so that way you don't have something that you can't send. And you can see that the love you is there. That's also on the chipboard, the flowers, and they're just glued onto the cardstock, just as you can see. More of that jute. I guess you only have to buy 1 package of the jute. You can use it for everything. I thought it was fun to have this piece on the inside of the first mason jar, and the others are just on the front and the back of the mason jar pieces. So there's 3 pieces. The love you at an angle, that little flourish going on. We've got some butterflies, actually several butterflies. It's just lovely, quite a special card for someone special in your life. Teresa did, I forgot to mention, you know how she is about edging things. She used the Prussian blue on the edges of the die cut pieces just to give a little bit more definition. It just makes them look a little classier, I think. Okay, that's what we have from our Teresa and our design team. So let me just regroup. We have, we'll make room on this table, we have the Meadow Blooms. I hope you love this collection. I think it's quite stunning. We've got the 12 by 12 patterned cardstock. We have the 12 by 12 solid cardstock. We have the coordinating die cuts. We have the 6 by 6 Meadow Blooms. We have the chipboard, as you have seen. And actually, on the back of the chipboard, there is another card, and this was done by Lene using those same markers. Just beautifully done, this time without the rubbing alcohol. And speaking of the cutting dies, there they are. So all of these are in the Meadow Blooms collection. Now, you know what I'm going to say next, but just in case you haven't seen this, if you are interested in getting a new collection every single month, we are the company for you. You can also get a subscription. That means you're going to get them before the webisode airs. You're also going to get them at a 20% discount. So in this case, it's called I Want It All subscription. You will get everything but not the cutting die. If you want the cutting die, well, we have one for that too. It's called I Really Want It All. And in that case, you're going to get everything that you see here. And each time you will also, as I said, you will receive them before we have the webisode, but you are not without ideas, because on the back of the packaging, there are ideas, especially for you. Well, that's what we have for today. I want to thank Teresa for, as always, doing an outstanding job. I really want to thank you, because without you, this wouldn't mean anything. If you're watching us on YouTube, we hope you'll come on over. We hope you will subscribe. We hope you'll like us. You know, everyone wants to be liked. And we hope that you'll pop on over to paperwishes.com, because you can get the money saver on the right side of your screen. Might as well save a little cash while you're at it. As I said, all of the projects are down below. You can click on them. Teresa has written out the instructions, so you've got them right at your fingertips. So thank you for being here, and most of all, thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Bye-bye.